killing the music,
But I
and
get it.
ta-da! Here we are.
I mean, like, I feel differently now.
You feel what?
Never mind. We're talking about truancy.
Yeah.
There's no way you were ever truant.
I did a couple of days.
What?
I did senior ditch day. I'm not a total square.
Wow. I wouldn't have guessed you for that. I seriously wouldn't have.
I would 100% guess that Jess and I could definitely convince you to do senior ditch day with us.
I'm sure you would.
Yeah. I could totally see that.
I can see that.
Okay, well, that being said, we are finally back after real life has kind of kicked all of us to some degree in the pants, and it still is. We are missing Todd and Dale due to last minute cancellations for similar real life pants kicking, so is what it is. However, tonight is the first night we're also streaming to Facebook directly as well. I thought I'd try the enhanced Streamlabs Prime or whatever it's called, just to check it out, see how it works. So here we are. We are back. Last we left off with Mass Effect, because I know it's been a little bit. You guys had just finished up the operation on Fel Prime and kind of got the rundown on what this organization was about. You have been introduced to the base of operations, which is called the Raptors Cove, which is kind of a large asteroid that orbits a planet. It is actually in the Iera system. It orbits the planet Watchman, and it's in and is. Because Mass Effect is such a giant game, it's in the Shadow Sea, which is a part of the Attican Traverse Cluster, which is actually not too far from the Alliance designated space, colony space, I should say. So the one big, I don't know if you want to call it a bright spot, but center of populace, you could call it, is a planet called Horizon, which is a known human colony. Fairly new, probably within about the past 20 or so years, maybe a little bit more. It is a verdant garden world with a population of a little over 600 some odd thousand people. So not much by planetary standards, but it has a populace. And in fact, that's where we're picking up. You have already been introduced, of course, to the Raptors Cove. You've been given some downtime as of this point while everything else gets coordinated. So you have been taken to the planetary capital of Horizon, which is a city called Discovery. Most of the settlement, which if you've played the games, Horizon actually makes a appearance in part 2. It's one of the scenes where you have to fight off collectors. The place is very modular looking because it is still on the newish side. So there are some buildings that are built that have been built up since having been there, but a lot of it has the lived-in container look. Hence the modular, so it's like several, modular buildings interconnected with one another, interspersed with maybe some gardens in between them or something to make it look homey and livable and whatnot. There is an open air starport at the far end of Discovery, the capital, and of course most everybody here is human that you might happen to see walking around. But where we pick up, you guys have just landed on the planet, given some time for R&R, and it was the idea behind it that Sokuvius had given to you was that it was a chance for you to probably learn about one another more if you would like, as well as get a chance to see the neighbors. And it was also, you were also told that Horizon, the citizens of Horizon, they don't know about Raptors Cove. It's not a publicized fact.
Hmm.
So just as a heads up.
Don't invite the neighbors home.
Right. So, oh, no problem. Thanks for stopping by, Jonathan. That's Brittany's friend. He's been popping in for the various streams. He's off to go play Borderlands with his kids. So I hope you have fun.
Don't die.
Yeah, don't die. So now that you have been dropped off at the planet, you guys did take the Mirage here. Speaking of which, for those of you who don't know what it looks like, it's actually my background on the stream, which, let me throw it up just over the chat real quick too, so you have a better view of it. That is the Mirage. It is a Tempest-class scout ship that the company had built up from stolen plans and has given to the team.
Cool.
But now is your opportunity to obviously go do some shopping if you need it. Go check out any facilities you might need to purchase items if they are purchasable here. Or just a night on the colony town.
I'm gonna go up to Dorn and grab her by the arm and make her go to the nearest bar with me.
Well, you may not believe this, but I don't really do downtime.
Yeah, I get it. But you're coming with me.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to keep you in line, I guess.
Yeah, I need somebody to watch out for me.
I'm gonna head out and look for something to eat.
Okay. There are a couple of cantinas, but for the most part, if it's restaurants that you're after, the cantinas usually have the enclosed seating locations, but there are a couple of vendor carts down like on a basically down on a commercial row. Think Cyberpunk in that sense, where there's probably more vendors on the outside that just have portable carts that can take them down for the day and take them wherever they need to go, as opposed to a whole lot of freestanding buildings. But there are a couple cantinas here as well.
The carts sound more my speed.
Okay.
So I'm gonna head towards those.
All right.
I'm taking her to a cantina.
Okay. So, Cassius, as you kind of start browsing what's available down the commercial row, and of course, in most of the food truck style carts that have got food going on, they'll have like a table or two right next to their stand with some, a couple chairs here or there. Not many, obviously, but enough. As you are kind of browsing around, a lot of the smells of the fresh grilled food is coming out. There are some that they're doing the kind of like hot dog stand, so they're boiling hot dogs, with what they have. One of the things that piques your interest, however, is you can see that one of the vendors actually has fairly sizable insects on steaks, doing them kind of like shish kebabs.
I'm gonna
and believe it or not, they smell kind of good.
Yeah.
Just like my mother used to make.
I'm gonna wait and see if anybody eats one of those things.
Oh yeah. Not many people stay to sit. Like, you'll see somebody walk by, they'll pay a couple credits, they'll grab it and keep walking on to go do their shopping or wherever it is they're going to go. But yes, it doesn't seem to be a foreign concept to the people here, like you might think some cultures would take to bugs.
And these are all humans eating this?
Yes, actually, it is.
Oh, man. All right, man. I guess I'll go try one.
Okay. They do resemble the bugs themselves. They many of them resemble larger mosquitoes,
Oh, man.
kind of. So some wing and some like several legs, elongated body sort of thing. But they've got them like stuck on these these sticks.
Just eating something with a face is kind of weird to me, man.
So the vendors there, and he's kind of keeping them on an open fire, on the small little grill that he's got, which is perfect for a food stand because they're not terribly big and it doesn't require a whole lot of fire to get them completely cooked. And he looks at you and he says, "You look like you're new here, sir."
Yeah, they're pretty new. I don't think I've ever had one of these. What do you guys call these?
Well, we just call them bugs. I don't think anybody's come up with like an affectionate scientific name. He says, "But are you a fan of shrimp?"
I love shrimp.
Okay. So he takes like a little plastic cup, like a sample cup sort of thing, and he takes a knife and he cuts one of them in half and he puts it in the cup. He says, "Why don't you try that with a little bit of lemon zest?"
All right, man. I'll give it a whirl.
Okay. So you pop that down with a little bit of squeeze of lemon, and sure enough, they look like insects. They taste like shrimp.
If you think about it, shrimp are pretty much bugs anyways,
Yeah,
man.
they're bugs of the sea.
Yeah. That's not as bad as I thought, man. These are pretty good.
He says, "Yeah, the early settlers had to get over their trepidations for it, but when you're hungry, you're hungry." And then these started kind of going over like wildfire, because everybody kind of loves shrimp, so it's got a nice seafood flavor to it, and we sell out of these pretty damn quick, and they're insects, so they repopulate fast.
Good stuff. Do you guys have any cocktail sauce back there?
Actually, we do. We just got a shipment. That is a little bit pricier because we have to ship it out here. Obviously, I hope you don't mind, but for 3 kebabs, it's going to set you back 2 credits, but for the sauce, it's an extra 2.
Give me all that, man. That sounds good.
All right. So he, gets you 3 kebabs, gets you a actual sample cup of the cocktail sauce, so you can dip them in there. He says, "If you don't mind me asking, you look like you're probably Alliance, or at least you were at one point."
I would say you could say at one point.
Yeah,
I'm a
it's
little
the
bit
haircut.
here and there now, but good eye.
He says, "So are you out this way looking for work? Because this is Horizon. It really isn't much in the way of work outside of maybe farming."
No, I'm here with some company work. Just getting my bearings right now, seeing what's going on. But yeah, I'm always open to stuff.
All right. So you must have come down in that fancy new looking ship.
Yeah, man, that's us.
Wow.
It took me a little bit to get used to it too. That thing is it's pretty nuts.
That doesn't look like any sort of alliance make. So you guys must have some serious coin backing you for something like that, because that was fancy.
That's I'm still waiting to find out. So once I do, I'll let you know.
Hey, it's like, wait, you don't even know? All right, man. You're all right.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the bugs. I'm gonna go take a stroll, see what's going on here.
All right. So you meander on down the way. The sky right now is kind of a nice amber haze. The atmosphere and everything, it has very much an earth feel to it. Aside from the fact that some of the plant life doesn't look like you would find, like say on Hawaii or a rainforest or something. I mean, it's green, but some of the leafy bits or the vines or tree types don't look exactly the same. But that's really the only belying thing about this about the world that would give it an alien feel to it. Otherwise, I mean, it's humans, it's breathable air. sun set. The sun of a type is setting as well. So I mean, it doesn't seem very unearthly, or alien like say the Citadel or some other planets might be.
Gotcha.
But the capital where you're at, the commercial section isn't super big. It kind of sits in an L shape. You're at the far end where a lot of the food carts are at, and then it circles off to the left, where they have more carts, but they're more knickknacks, odds and ends, and parts and
tchotchkes.
Yeah, just stuff that knickknacks that you might need. And whatnot. So the two you ladies end up walking into one of the neighboring cantinas. Most of the people in here look like they are farmers getting done for the day. They've got two television, but the cantina has kind of a sports bar feel to it. So they've got a couple monitors that are up, two of which are currently on football games right now, which were being broadcast from Earth. Another one is some sort of bizarre sports ball, coming from the Citadel, more council space news or whatnot. I mean, otherwise, the cantina on the inside, it's clean. There really isn't an air of it being unsafe. It's a stark contrast from the seedier places you've been to, like the Dark Star Lounge or Chorl's Den, on the Citadel.
This place is downright boring.
Yeah, it's pretty tame.
It's a nice change.
Yeah, this is actually not exactly what I was expecting, but it's
There
pleasant.
probably aren't even any underhanded deals going on right now.
I don't know about.
So a waitress walks up to the two of you as you come walking in. She's like, "So, we don't get many Asari here. How can I help you?"
My sister and I would just like to sit at the bar for a bit, if that's possible.
Oh, of course. Any place that's open is you can plant your backsides at and have a seat. Did you want to order any drinks, or did you want to see a menu?
Yeah, if you could just let me know what's on draft, or what do you recommend?
She says, "Oh, well, we got some of that Turian ale. It seems to be going over. It's so fancy, and if you ask nicely, the guy in the back, he's got some sort of I don't know, what do they call it, the ring call special, something like that. It's the more spicier stuff that you find out in the Attican Traverse. Otherwise, we've got some typical human ales that you might like. I don't know. We don't get many Asari in here, so I don't know what your taste lean towards."
Some human ales would be perfect.
Okay, then that's absolutely perfect. Why don't you two lovely ladies, plant your backsides up at the bar, and I'll go make sure we get you served up.
Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and take the lead and walk up to the bar and find a place to sit.
I'll follow her.
Okay, so she goes walking back there and starts pouring the drinks and ends up setting them both down in front of you. They both have kind of an amber looking glow to them, a little bit of a bubble on top. And she says, "Are we going to be opening a tab, or did you want to just pay for these individually?"
You know what? I'm not sure what our night is gonna look like, so I'll just pay for this now.
Okay, she says, "Well, these would be 2 credits apiece, so that'll bring it down to 4.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pay her.
Okay, so
I'll pay her for my own. Yeah, I'll have mine too.
okay. So she runs that off, and then after she, cashes you two out for the drinks, she goes wandering off to go deal with some of the other locals that were in here. They're asking for her or something.
I'm gonna pick up my ale and position myself for cheers.
Oh, unexpected, but I'll go with it.
To new beginnings.
To new beginnings.
I'm gonna take a drink.
Okay.
how are you? How did, how is everything? I don't know much about you anymore.
It's yeah, that's kind of a broad question.
Okay, well, how did you get away from mom?
Well, she wasn't happy when I resigned, I'll tell you that. But I am a little embarrassed to admit that I leaned on that maiden excuse of wanting to stretch my legs, which wasn't exactly the truth. I was happy there until anyway.
Until you found out she was a crook, bad person. You can say it. I know it.
What do you know?
I just know she sucks.
Wait, so you
She hated me. She hated me because I wasn't like you and I didn't have the political mind and I didn't want to go through whatever. I could tell she was dishonest. I don't need any evidence. I have my intuition.
so you don't know?
No, what did she do?
I'm not exactly sure. I've just honestly getting out into space, taking on jobs like this is, I mean, it's good. I'm good at it, but partly I'm looking for evidence to put her away, to prove that she's been involved in illegal activities, and I thought this was a good way to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, if there's anything I can do to help, I hate her, so I'm happy to help you find any evidence to put that rotten
So
old hag
enough
away.
about Mother. Um, have you haven't been living on the Citadel, have you? I thought I would have run into you at least some point.
I've been around, back and forth. I kind of I don't know what did they call humans at one point, like hippies, a free spirit. That's what I aspire to be.
So you just wander and go where
I
the work takes
not
you, or
basically I'm not necessarily aimless, and I take care of myself. Um, I just want to see everything I can.
well, that's, not so unusual.
I mean, growing up, I didn't belong where I was, and I guess I'm still kind of just searching for my place.
So what brought you back to the Citadel?
Work, job,
This kind of work? Or other
yeah,
kind of work?
mostly this type of work.
You handled yourself pretty well in there.
You, I try. I try not to get killed.
At the end of the day, that's all we can ask for, right?
That is true.
It's a good day that you don't get killed.
It certainly is. But I am glad to see you again.
This is nice.
Yeah.
Do
And
you?
a little bowl right at that break, a little bowl gets slidden over your way that has some nuts in it.
I think this is a human tradition, right?
I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna pick up the bowl and I'm just gonna like take a quick sniff to make. They seem like they're so. It seems like it's edible.
I don't remember if you eat it or if you put it in your drink.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we should ask the waitress. I thought you ate them, but maybe putting them in a drink is a regional specialty. Maybe that's this region. I'm gonna look around and see if I can see anybody else putting nuts in their beers.
Oh yeah, no, nobody putting nuts in their beer. But you do see, like, there's somebody, a couple people at a table that happen to be watching a game, and they're just all sharing the nuts from the bowl.
See them. It doesn't look like they're putting in their cup. They're just snacking.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll try it.
Yeah, let's do this. Take a couple and
So it's a mix of cashews and peanuts. For as an FYI, so it's got a little bit of crunch, a little bit of salt to it. It looks like it's probably just a finger food to pass you over for people who are either chatting or watching the games.
These taste like wood.
You're all yummy.
So did you bring friends with you to the Citadel? Do you travel alone?
I keep to myself. I mean, I know people, but I prefer not to be beholden to anyone else along my travel. So, for the most part, alone. I do meet acquaintances, and I met some lovely people. That very strange guy that I helped out, and I don't know, I guess kind of saved his life. Like, he's a recent acquisition.
Oh, you mean Peraza?
Yes.
He's a character, isn't he? He's very young.
Yes, he's very unique.
Well, we don't get many of them around, so
Certainly.
well. I was surprised to hear that you knew Dr. Nuani.
Yeah. That I was very surprised that anything had happened to her. It didn't really seem like she was the type of person to necessarily get involved with those types of things, but that was just, I'm glad she came back safe. She's a valuable person.
Yeah, it seems that her research seems very interesting. I hope she'll be able to tell us a little more about it later.
Yeah.
So as you two were chatting and now snacking on the nuts occasionally, and just it's pretty calm in the cantina. Not pardon me, not much in the way of anything going on. It looks like people are here more to just relax and take in the game and or probably socialize. So definitely more of a small town feel, which is actually very different for the both of you because growing up in council space, you know, most of your childhood would have been spent around like Thessia as well as the Citadel, which that is just both of them brimming with people, you know, huge societies or whatnot. So to actually have a smaller small town feel to it is probably pretty different, and maybe even a bit jarring for the two of you. So as you're Cassius, as you're walking along through the second section of the commercial area, You end up seeing your pilot down at the far end at one of the larger booths and kind of tipping his hat and looking over something and conversing with somebody else. This guy happens to have a stand that's got a bunch of like parts. It's got a couple of tubs with some random stuff in it. It almost looks like some of the sellers you might find at like a weapon, like a gun show or something. You know, so it's like a couple tables. They've got several things laid out all over the place, but there's nothing commercialized about it, like, you know, signs and flags or what. It just looks like a mom and pop type of dealer that just happens to have a bunch of different items.
You're right on. I'm gonna approach and see what's going on, man. I don't really know the guy, so I'm not gonna just say, "Hey, man." Long time no see,
Yeah, no
but
problem. So he seems to be
gonna-
haggling with the vendor right now, and as he sees you come walking, he's like, "Oh, hey, Cassius, how you doing?"
How's it going, man? I saw you from over there. I was trying some of these local bugs, man.
Yeah, they're a bit of a delicacy to the locals here. That something about like shrimp, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're like. Pretty good too.
So he's kind of going over. He's got a data pad from him going over this list, and he's like, "Can you believe this? That Quarian we got with us. I guess he had some sort of suit breach or something. He's got these almost a ransom list of knickknacks. I'm out hunting for him."
I'm guessing this stuff's pretty touchy, man. So you need some help finding this stuff?
No, I think I reckon I got it all. Just he's a bit of a hypochondriac, that one.
I'm assuming so, man. Like I said, I don't know too much about him. I don't think anybody knows too much about those people altogether. But every run-in I've ever had with them, they're always been really peculiar.
Peculiar. Yeah, I figure you could assign that word to him. That would be a definite. And he looks to the vendor. He says, "All right. So for our peculiar Quarian friend, I think we can let this go for 500 credits." And the guy's like, "Oh, you know," in barter, and he's like, "All right. Tell you what, I'll throw in the spanner that I overheard you saying you were needed, and the rest for 500. So he's like, kind of gritting his teeth and whatnot. He's like, "Or you can wait on the next shipment coming through. I don't know if them Alliance types are going to be back here anytime soon." The guy's like, "Oh, all right. Fine. Just fine." And he says, "Y'all don't mind if I take this tub here?" And it's like, you know, one of those your typical tub of, you know, plastic tub that, you know, kind of has a plastic top on it, seals down, and he's like, no, whatever. So he takes the few remaining parts that were in there, takes what he's supposed to be buying, and then just package up the tub, which is like medium sized. It's not one of the larger reinforced ones, but it's still got some heft to it.
500, man. That's that guy's gonna be in your pocket for a little while.
He better. But I figured we could put him to use. He seems to be some sort of a mechanic or something, so maybe some parts and trade or whatnot.
From what I saw, he's a pretty good whiz with that stuff.
Well, let's hope so. Listen, I'm gonna go take these back to the ship and drop things off. You okay from here on out?
Yeah, man. I'm just looking around.
All right, so he tips his hat and slings the tub up over his shoulder and just goes walking down the rest of the way back to the spaceport.
See you later, man. And I'm gonna keep walking the other way.
Okay. This is the back part of the commercial area, so there's a couple more stands, but otherwise it ends. There are a couple vendors here selling tools. Most of them are assorted parts along the side. One of the vendors is actually selling essentially discs and shards that have like movies and music on them and whatnot, because the I don't want to call it the internet, but essentially that the signal, which would be the internet in Mass Effect space, gets out here, but it takes longer, which is very common for anybody who's been on any of the colony planets or whatnot. If you're not a part of like a big setup like Citadel or on one of the major council planets or whatnot, the signal will get out to you. It takes much longer.
Gotcha.
One of the other things you also spot out here is you see a rather attractive woman in kind of I don't even want to say kind of, a very form-fitting dress. It's white and kind of a dark blue. It has some pinstripe to it, so it looks like it has edging. She has a microphone in her hand. She has long black hair, pretty full figure, and she has a guy kind of in front of her, but a little off to the side with a camera. He has controls that's kind of hovering like right next to him.
This looks interesting. I'm gonna see if there's a railing I can lean against and see what's about to happen.
Sure. So it looks like she's actually doing an interview with one of the citizens of the colony. It doesn't look like it's anything special. She's just asking some random questions like about the planet and colony life, and do they have to deal with pirates out here, and whatnot. You end up overhearing, because they have to pause a couple times, like you would normally if you're doing an interview or setting up for a shot or whatnot. But you do overhear that she is looks like she's doing a show for something called Battle Space.
Battle Space.
Yes.
Does she go on about it?
Why don't you give me let's do a check, see just how much you pick up on. Give me a perception check.
Give me just a second.
Those numbers are so tiny.
I know.
Yeah. So
it doesn't look like you have a bonus to your wisdom, so did you get... It doesn't look like you have perception either, which is okay, so it's just going to be a D20 check.
Okay. That is... Oh, man, that's a natural 19.
Oh, nice. Okay. You do manage to overhear, like, as she finishes up that interview with the citizen and starts, looks like she's striking up a conversation with another one of the vendors. You end up overhearing that because she has to introduce herself. Her name is Diane Allers. Diana Allers. And she's with the Alliance News Network.
And
so from what you pick up on, from what little bit you heard from the last one, and what she starts going into her kind of spiel with the other person, looks like she's just doing an article for her TV show called Battle Space. And it airs on the Alliance News Network, but she's doing basically the life of colonists at this point.
Oh, wow.
So it's sort of juxtapositioned between what life was like during the First Contact War versus what life is like now.
Gotcha.
post contact and integration into the council.
Interesting. Well, I'm just gonna keep watching it. I don't know if she's gonna finish up her interview or if she's done or whatnot.
So you just kind of keep an eye out.
Just yeah,
Sure. Okay.
just watching.
Yeah, not much happens really outside of the fact she ends up interviewing one other person, and they end up calling it a wrap because the sunlight is going down at this point. And they pack up their things. The little drone that's with them, that's doing that was doing the camera work. Her and her producer / cameraman, they after that she throws on a coat and they start walking back the other way through the commercial alley. Looks like
Gotcha.
they're heading out for the day.
Cool. Well, since it's sundown, I'm gonna head back too.
Okay. At this point, as you're kind of walking back around the way, you can see, because the all the cantinas in here, while they do have like the roof or whatnot, it has that open air feel. So they don't have they don't have like windows like a lot of the ones do now. They're more like the modern ones that have like the patio and they have posts and the roof and whatnot. But I mean, really, if you wanted to just jump straight through the opening, you could, if you didn't want to go through the door. So you can, when you pass by, you can actually see, because they stand out, your two Asari friends in the cantina, actually at the bar right now. It looks like they're enjoying some peanuts.
If they can see me, I'm gonna wave at them, but I'm gonna keep walking.
Okay.
I don't want to. I know they have some history together, so I don't want to interrupt in case they got some fireworks going on.
So at one point, the two of you would probably see that Cassius was walking by, on the outside row where some of the vendors were, and kind of waved at the two of you as he was passing by.
I'm gonna go ahead and give him a wave back.
Do you think he is headed back? We didn't have a curfew, did we?
I don't think so. I'm assuming. I guess doing whatever he feels he needs to before they call tonight.
So, I don't know. Did you want to do anything else? Do you want to? I mean, this game is kind of curious, but I don't really know how it works.
Yeah, I don't understand the mechanics, but I do kind of enjoy watching.
It's entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, we could hang out here for a bit. Do you want to get some actual food other than these nuts?
I wouldn't mind seeing a bit more of this planet.
I believe I saw some food vendors outside. We can leave here and take a stroll and go pick something up. Explore.
All right.
So you finish up your drinks and you head out the front door, which, taking down a couple steps, leads you right into that commercial row or alley, in essence, which opens up where you're at, where many of the food carts are at. There is, at this point, there's a bit of a glow coming from this particular section, mostly from some of the lower powered lamps that are in the area, as well as the grills that are still operating. It has, since you were inside and are now coming out, it has gotten much more busy in this particular section, as it looks like many tired people are coming in for the day, and they're hitting up these sections for food and whatnot. So It is definitely it is. I don't want to say it's packed, but it is definitely more lively than when you first got here.
Which of the food stalls looks like it has the longest line?
Looks like it's there is one that is currently serving hot dogs and sausages. Mostly because it looks like those are some of the fastest to make, or maybe they had the most to prepare, or it had the most ready. But there's a lot of people that have hit that up right now. But there's the kebab vendors. There's also some snack vendors that are here. Those aren't very busy, but you can tell that those are more confectionery treats, not like an actual meal.
I've always found a good rule of thumb is to look at what the locals are eating.
That's
I mean,
very
not
smart
like
advice.
it seems like this is not exactly a tourist area, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks like there's quite a few people over here with the sausages. Do you want to try that?
Sure.
Okay, so I mean, as you are waiting in line, there are of course other dealers and vendors here and whatnot. And one of the things that you see, there is a sign that's off to the side, and this is kind of, you don't see many of them here, but this is still very typical of signs. Like if you play the game Mass Effect, you would see it's more like a pole that has an animated ticker that rolls through, advertisements and whatnot. So it's almost more like a holographic computer screen that can go through all kinds of advertisements or alerts or whatnot as needed. And there's one that sits at the intersection, which is convenient because that's where a lot of the foot traffic comes through. And you can actually see an advertisement for an Asari singer who is going to be playing at some point in the near future at they advertise like Omega and a Dark Star Lounge at the at the Citadel. Sorry, I was struggling with the name. And the artist's name she goes by is it's Ohrwurm.
How you spell that?
It is OHRWURM. Ohrwurm.
Have we heard of her?
Yes. She is a pretty popular up-and-coming Asari singer and performer, which I know is kind of on the nose, for Asari. But she has made kind of a name for herself because she doesn't tend to frequent Asari locales.
Ah.
So she's taken a little bit different of a route and has tried to go commercial with in other races, sectors and whatnot. Trying to make a name for herself outside of Asari space.
Quite the ambassador.
But she has actually dark purple skin color. And her music is a bit more electronica meets Hailstorm. But you can see that kind of playing in the background as it scrolls up through other advertisements and whatnot. And as you get to, and as the line slowly progresses forward, you get up to the fairly large cart actually compared to some of the other ones. And he's got this the stand itself, which you as players would probably understand. It has a very East Coast kind of New York sort of look to it. Like you would see like Coney Island dogs and whatnot. So he's got a little paper hat on, and you can see the steam rising up from the boilers that he's got in the stand, and he's already got some buns and condiments and everything laid out, and he says, "Ah, got some asaris here. What can I get for you ladies?"
What's the most popular?
Most popular? I'd say probably the Polish dogs.
I'll try that.
I'll have one of those as well.
One of those as well. And you ladies want any sort of condiments on it? You can take your pick up to 3. We got the onions, we got sauerkraut. We've got celery salt, we got regular salt, we got ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, you name it.
Sauerkraut sounds interesting. I'll have that, and maybe some celery salt and mustard.
Surprise me.
All right, so he lays one out and starts laying out the one per Tila's specification, getting that set up, and then randomly throws down some items on on your Polish dog. It ends up having what are they? It's the crunchy onions. You know what I'm talking about? So he threw some of those. He threw some of those on there. It has like a dash of ketchup. He threw some celery salt on there, and he threw on some sautéed onions.
A lot of onions.
So and he says that'll be 3 credits apiece.
I'll hand them over.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and send my money over too.
Says you ladies are going to have to excuse me. Looks like all the farming shifts got off work, so there doesn't seem to be any places for you to sit. So apologies, but if you need the extra napkins, we can get you some of those.
Is it acceptable to eat while walking?
Oh, sure, of course.
All right. I know some cultures it's not, so I thought I would check.
He says, "What, are we Batarian over here?"
Clearly not.
So he pulls out a couple extra napkins for the both of you, and make sure that there's the little container, or not the container, but the cardboard cutout for the for the bun. He's got a little bit of waxing paper underneath it, and you both are ready to rock.
You didn't want to sit, did you? You're okay with strolling?
No, I figured we would explore more of the city while we.
Excellent. So then I guess we take a walk while we eat.
Okay, so you take a walk. There are, the commercial row at this point looks a lot like those stands that you would find that people set up around town here in town. They've got like a food truck or just a cart or whatnot, and they've taken over part of somebody's parking lot. Just imagine several of those all lined up together at this point, in like one row. So kind of a flea market sort of vibe going on. There's a lot of laughter and chatting, or some people BSing about a hard day's labor. As you were walking along, you can see that some of the stands that sell goods are starting to close up. Not all of them, but some of them are. The ones that sell food are obviously they're hopping at this point. They're looks like this is probably when they make their most money. One of the stands you do see, of course, has I don't want to say news, but movies and music, both on disc as well as like jump drives and shards. as appropriate. Most of it looks like it's human-related consumption, but you can see that there is a small portion of it that was specified, like as Asari, because again, not to be too on the nose, but it's a thing.
Any of this strike your fancy?
Not particularly. You?
I mostly read manuals.
Fair. That sounds like you.
So we'll keep walking.
Okay, so as you guys are walking, you can see that there are two people down at the far end at this point. One of which is a woman with kind of long, dark brown hair in Alliance armor, and then another individual who's got kind of the short military black haircut. Black hair, but the military cut. Also an Alliance soldier, and they seem to be talking to somebody about. Looks like they're going over some tools, and you end up overhearing the vendor calling the woman Chief Williams.
Oh, that seems like she might be
Seems like she might be what?
important.
Important.
And I mean, he's calling her by her title.
Well, none of our business.
We'll continue walking.
What's that?
We'll continue walking.
Okay. Well, it goes in the L shape, so there wasn't much else outside of what you see here. There's obviously more to the city than just this, but a lot of it is just living space or parks, or security buildings or whatnot. You do see off in the distance. You can see that they have terrestrial laser cannons set up of some kind to help defend the colony. But one of the things you would note, especially given the life that the two of you have led, irrespective of one another, but there doesn't seem to be that anxious energy that floats around a lot of colonists. They seem to feel and act safer than many colonists do. So pirating or slavers or anything of that nature, probably given the fact it's so much closer to the Alliance space, it probably isn't as big of a deal.
And this settlement is about 20 years old?
Yeah.
Not very long.
Mm-mm.
Pretty new.
Well, it seems like a well taken care of little city.
It does. It does. It seems this would be a place that I would put, as you would say, down.
Really?
It seems fairly safe. I mean, if that kind of thing were for me. But if I were to, this would be a nice. It's much different.
It bodes well for the local security situation.
It does.
Yes, that's good to know that our base doesn't seem to be in a particularly high trafficked area.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's both for better and worse.
It for security, it's nice.
Right. You end up getting a chime on your comm links.
check it.
And it's your pilot, Highball. And he says, so I don't know when the rest of y'all are going to be wanting to head out, but I've got Cassius here with me, and we're already on board the Mirage. We're going to be heading out anytime soon now, so y'all want to wrap it up. Much appreciated.
I suppose we ought to head back.
Yeah. All right, I guess. Let's go.
And within a few minutes, you walk back through the crowds and head back off to the starport where the Mirage is, currently waiting. A little bit of steam coming down off the sides as the engines are starting to get prepped to lift off. The cargo bay door is, still down, obviously allowing for people to come on board. And as the two of you get on board, and Highball starts going through the pre-flight check and getting the ship space-worthy to launch. He says, I don't know about all of you all, but there's been some interesting chatter on the intranet around here.
What kind of interesting?
What qualifies as interesting?
Well, it seems they've had some missing shipments turn up. Doesn't seem to be flagging much with the Alliance types. But then again, I don't hear any call for any mercenaries, so I don't know just what level of superheroics you all are into, but I figured I'd bring that to your attention. Idle hands do the devil's work.
Did you happen to hear any particular names? Do you know who was maybe complaining about this?
Or what kind of shipments?
Yeah, let me send you that little missive that we ended up picking up. So he slides something on. He literally takes his hand over the console, slides it, and then you guys end up getting a chime, respectively, in your helmets. So you'd actually have to put your helmets on to see it.
I'll put my helmet on.
But it pops up. It's essentially like an email message. Because you didn't have like a computer terminal to go to. But I mean, essentially, it's an email message. It's from somebody by the name of Robin Reeves, or Robin Reeve, I should say. The first couple were just standardized reports of, okay, well, this happened here, and this is that, and it just kind of like an itemized, okay, what came, what left, import export sort of shipping. But then the next two end up getting flagged, is indicating that this shipment was short X amount of parts. And then there's like a question mark. Then there's another one that comes up and says, okay, well this shipment was short X amount of whatever parts that were different. It wasn't the same. And then there's a comment. There's a note attached to it from Robin that's that is questioning why exactly there's shortages, and then another tagged note onto it, kind of like a sticky but electronic, that indicated okay, followed up with vendor confirms all parts shipped. Could somebody be pinching the shipments?
Does it say what kind of equipment it was?
Yeah, actually, the first parts looks like they could have gone to a number of different common items and machines, but when you pair it up with the second, it looks like these are a little bit more specific to military style devices, usually military spec generators.
Hmm. And this Robin person is a local?
Yes.
Is there a commonality about where the shipments went through, or what ship they came in on, or where they passed through, or like what company they were coming from?
Both ships that made the deliveries were different. The vendor, however, is the same. They're getting them. They're actually getting them directly from a vendor from Earth. So they're, which means they're likely Alliance transports. I'm sorry. What was the other question you asked? Oh,
Just
no.
looking for a lead, basically.
That's what you have so far. The ships aren't different, or I should say, the ships are different. They're not the same. And the shipments themselves, at least the notes about the parts being missing, were from the past 2 shipments. So they're within the past 3 months a piece. So they're quarterly shipments that are coming in.
Well, that's not much of a pattern. It seems pretty spread out as far as I mean, if somebody is looking to fleece this order, they're taking their sweet time to do it.
Hmm. Yeah, that. But looking at it, I mean, the common factor is the vendor is the same. Maybe the vendor is just not
Dishonest.
actually. Yeah, maybe they're not actually shipping everything at the facility as well.
And this Robin person wasn't reaching out for assistance with tracking them down.
The note did end up going to the Alliance military that's there. But as the shipment isn't, or the missing parts aren't in large enough frequencies at this point, there isn't anything that they can do. They have other priorities that they have to get tasked to. So they were directed to deal directly with the vendor.
Right.
Why don't all of you? Actually, you know what? You don't have to. Passive perception. Anybody have a passive perception above a 13? No? Okay. So why don't you guys give me a d20 roll then? And add your perception.
I got a 16.
Oh, nice.
5.
I also have 16.
All right. So Doran gets busy with the distraction on her helmet. She sees a smudge that she just got to get rid of, and it's just like distracted, just like, oh, good grief, and cleaning it up or something. As you two look at it, the other two of you look at the order. It's strangely specific as far as a dollar amount, or say credit amount. Both of them have totaled under $5,000 a piece.
Do we know offhand if there's like some kind of regulation that stipulates crimes having to be over or under a certain limit, like 5,000?
You're not sure, as of the like that particular like law or statute or whatnot. But since it's that specific, it could be rubbing up against something like that.
Gotcha. Bear that in mind.
If they mention that, that might be. I mean, I'm kind of all about regulations. I might know that.
I'm gonna ask her 5,000 credits. Hey, Dorn, does this make any sense to you?
Does
Is there any kind of regulation or rules or something that you know about with shipping and losses and maybe prison time? I'm not sure.
So why don't you give me an insight check?
Oh, of course, insight is not a thing that I have. I got a 12.
Well, given your background, yes, actually it is. And it is and given your role on, although slightly different compared to human standards, you know that the Alliance typically tried to, because the humans were trying to integrate so closely with the Council, many of their maritime laws, especially regarding import-export, mirrored what the Council had for expedience sake. And you know that is actually, that's a threshold. That's no different than in banking terms when somebody's trying to hide transactions to avoid having to file specific forms so it'd be flagged. So somebody pinching the shipments, it looks like if that's indeed what's happening, they're hip to import-export trade laws.
No, that is very clever. If this is being done on purpose, they are definitely exploiting a loophole here where it wouldn't be flagged in the system until it's over 5,000. When let's compare the dates. How long has it been since this last shipment? Does it seem like if there were a pattern, when would the next one be?
The next one's actually coming up in a month.
And they were the same vendor, right? Different
Yes.
transport ship.
Different transport ships, same vendor.
Wonder if there's some. I mean, it's not like we could put a flag out on that particular vendor, but it'd be interesting to watch and see what the next shipment has.
I mean, honestly, for all we know, it just could be Robin policing and fencing the items himself.
That's true.
Trying to divert attention from it. However, if he was going to do that, I would imagine that he wouldn't say anything if he went to the trouble of making sure that the value was under 5,000.
You know, I wonder. These are all military spec generator pieces. What is missing from the list? I'm not especially technical, but maybe that would be a lead. See if some of those missing items are next to be ordered, or maybe if they have all the pieces, maybe there's some way we could track down some kind of energy output, or otherwise figure out what they're using it for.
Cassius, do you want to give a roll for that? That looks
Sure,
like something
man.
you might actually have a little bit of knowledge in.
You said that was
For you, that's going to fall under engineering.
gotcha. I gotta pull up my PDF real quick.
Sure. It looks like you do actually have. Not only is it in your intelligence range, you get a bonus for that, but you also have it as a proficiency.
Okay,
Ooh.
so that's that would be 12 plus
So
the.
that should be, you should have 3 to that roll. So because you're
Okay.
Because we haven't updated the character sheets yet, which we should. But
So
with everything
12.
that's been going on, so right now you'll have a +3 to your roll.
Okay.
Oh,
So that's 16, 17, 18, 19 altogether.
Okay. You actually recall from firsthand knowledge now that you take a look at it, because it was one of the things that you got stuck on shit duty. It was one of those things that you'd have to when you act up at boot camp or whatnot, it's like, oh well, you get to go repair the generator, and it was one of those things that would be purposely stripped down and you had to put it all back together. So
Gotcha.
based upon the parts that are missing and parts that are based upon what's missing and parts that might still be needed, there's 3 specific parts that will be needed, and if those are swiped, that based upon cost, that's probably going to push that $5,000 credit limit again.
All right, I'm gonna let these guys know that.
Oh, okay.
So that's you said the next shipment's gonna be in a month.
Mm-hmm. And if that does go, if that gets those do go missing, that's a total of 3 generators, medium sized.
Wow.
What would those types of generators power, Cassius?
Would I know that?
You could take some guesses. They could power anti-personnel devices, like basically small base fortifications. If used in tandem, it could be used to power small base. Usually, you get larger generators for that sort of thing, but in a pinch, you could use three medium sized.
Daisy chain them.
Yeah, exactly. Or it could be, depending upon the use, it could be used to power one large computer bank.
Is there somebody we could like give a heads up about this stuff? I mean, besides the person that wrote the email, I guess.
the local alliance military, perhaps. Have them, or like, if it's not the military specifically, then whoever keeps law on the planet. And maybe it would be a good idea to take a look around the port and see if there's opportunity for I mean, the shipments had to be cracked open at some point during transport, so I don't know where that would be. I mean, there's a lot of wiggle room in there, so
I mean, doing some reconnaissance on the port is not such a bad idea.
It sounds like a good idea.
so who's the local lawkeeper here?
Well, Cassius, you would know, since this is still a colony and they haven't installed like a local government and whatnot. It all falls to Alliance military.
Okay. So all this, this is all under Alliance control now. So until they set up something else. That's who we talk to.
Do you think they would investigate this if they knew how the pieces worked together, or would they have to wait to investigate after
I'm
there's
sure they would appreciate the information if they didn't know it already. I'm not sure if they do or don't, but regardless, this would be something that they would definitely be interested in. I just don't know who the our point of contact would be.
We did see someone while walking around. Their name was Chief Williams. I wonder if perhaps that might be a contact for us to get our foot in the door, so to say.
It's worth a shot.
do we have anywhere to be, or can we take a couple of hours to follow up on this?
Well, I don't particularly care. If you want me to still keep the port while you look into this, that's fine by me.
All right. Hang tight. We'll be back soon.
Well, all right. I'll just sit tight then.
All right. Well, I guess we'll go find Chief Williams.
I'll follow you guys. I don't know who you're talking about.
So you head back into the commercial district, and at this point, you know, there's music playing and there's, you know, people out relaxing. Nothing super rowdy, but there's a lot of laughter. You can hear drinks and of course the smell of food. Some of the vendors have already closed up at this point. The cantinas are all super active right about now. Without knowing the lay of the land, you could always go inside one of the cantinas and ask. Or you could try and ask one of the vendors or grab somebody to see if they know where the Alliance has essentially headquartered here, or where you would go for any sort of concerns like this.
Is the bug guy still around?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
he's
go
busy.
swing by him and ask him if he knows who this chief is or if you've seen her.
Okay, so you just kind of walk up catty corner to his thing. His two little tables are packed. He's got, you know, farmers and people just hanging out and eating and whatnot. And he's like, "Hey, guy, what's going on?"
What's up, man? I was first off, those shrimps were bugs. Pretty amazing, man.
Yeah, see? I'm not going to steer you wrong. I got my clients to keep.
I'm looking for somebody, man. A female chief was through here just a little while ago. You know anything about her?
Oh, you must be talking about Chief Williams.
Yeah, that's her. You seen her?
Yeah, she heads up the Alliance military here.
Okay, good. Did you see which way she went?
Not particularly, but you could always check with their, their office. It's around the corner, the other side of the starport, like directly across from it, about a quarter mile. You cut out there, Eric.
Oh, sorry. I appreciate it.
Like, all right, no problem.
I'm gonna flag the girls down.
You with the Asari women now too?
Did I cut out again?
No.
Oh.
No, he's asking, are you with the Asari women now too?
Oh, yeah. Yep, I was.
He's like, man. So you've got that fine looking ship with a boss you've got no idea what kind of cash he makes, and you're with Asari women. Are you sure you're not a rock star?
I'm living the life, man.
Apparently. Whew. Well, live it some more for all of us.
All right, I appreciate the info, bro.
Right, he just tips his head a little bit and goes back to serving up some grub. literally.
Grubs.
Yep.
Grubs.
But following that direction and kind of going around the corner and looking around, there aren't very many signs here. Mostly giving the indication that people probably know where they're going, and it's not common that you get people here that need to know directions. So it takes you a little bit longer than you anticipate, but as you're walking along and you get to an intersection where there's like a container building stretched across the row essentially of buildings, you can see that the staircase leads up, and it looks like that's where the Alliance has basically their office.
Right on.
It's pretty late. Is anybody still open?
Yeah, you can still see the lights are on.
Do they have a reception area?
Mm-hmm. You have to walk up the steps to essentially the second floor, but yeah. So it's a nice little office area, all prefab looking. So nothing super special about it, except they've got some advertisements for joining the Alliance military, obviously. And as you come walking in, you know, a guy in uniform comes rushing out of the other room real quick. You know, and straightening out his shirt. Young guy, probably early 20s. Standard military haircut sort of thing. And he's like, "Oh, ladies, sir, sorry, how can I help you?"
Is Chief Williams available?
No, she's not here right now. Is there something I can help you with?
We have a tip for her about potential illegal activity that we thought she would like to know.
Why don't you go ahead and give me a check for persuasion?
Now this I theoretically can do
Here we go.
when I don't roll a 3.
All right.
Aw.
Shit.
So
With the bonus is 16, right? All right.
so I got 8.
You got 8. So he looks hesitant to go forward with it. He's like, well, if you could leave the information with me, I can make sure that Chief Williams gets it when she starts her shift tomorrow.
I'm gonna go ahead and interject. And, you know, I'm so sorry. I would love to leave you this information. However, it is somewhat sensitive. Can you potentially give Chief Williams our contact information and ask her to reach us?
Why don't you go ahead and give me a persuasion check?
I have 6.
Oh man. The sorry girls.
The sorry.
It's enough.
Yeah, unfortunately. He says, yeah, I could do that. I'm sorry. What were your names again? And he starts, he pulls open like an app on the computer to start typing.
Vasava and I'll give him our contact on the ship.
So you both go by the same name?
We're sisters.
Oh, okay, it must be an Asari thing. Okay, so Vasava, and so he just types down the one word.
This is more complicated than it needs to be.
You can see him making a note, but stands for 2 Asari.
My first name
Oh,
is
thank you, Chris. Chris is now following us. Yay!
Thank you.
Chris Sharp.
Oh, yay!
Oh, right on.
Hey,
He must
What's up,
be.
man?
He must be.
I know
Seeing
the
us
guy.
on Facebook. And we know him.
Yeah, this is getting too complicated. I'll just give him my actual name and my contact.
Okay, so he's like, oh, and so he starts editing, his note and whatnot, and jotting that down. And he says, "This is." And what was it in regards to? You said it was.
I'm gonna look to the other two first, and then just say
Say anonymous tip. Illicit activities.
it's not anonymous if it's coming from if you give your name.
Well, we're not going to tell him what the tip is, so it's anonymous right now.
Just have her contact us.
And so he's like, "Yes, ma'am. I will make sure she gets this first thing in the morning."
Thank you very much.
And you can see his name tag says Private Jensen.
All right. Well, if she's not in, then I don't know. Where was it that we ran into her outside? It was at one of the kiosks, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe
Mhm.
she was with one of the vendors.
Maybe we can see if she's still out. I mean, it hasn't been that long. Maybe the vendor can point us to her.
Might as well take a walk.
It's worth a shot.
Okay.
So we'll head back over to that vendor in the downtown area.
All right. Well, you walk back around. Walk back around the commercial section. Again, it's brimming with people at this point, doing their thing. At this point, give me perception checks. Everybody, roll a d20.
I'm gonna put this die away.
Dude,
Oh no.
I
Um,
don't know if you can
I
see
got
that.
6.
That looks like it could have been a 2.
It was a natural 20.
Okay.
I got 13.
Okay. And as Jonathan says, Mr. Downtown.
This die is grounded.
The cheat is grounded.
It's usually such a good die too. Not tonight.
So you're looking around. You don't know who exactly it is you're looking for, Eric, but Cassius does end up spotting some Alliance soldiers in one of the cantinas.
Okay.
Because you can spot their uniform, which stands out, obviously, against the civilian outfits and whatnot that are here.
Got you. I'm gonna notion to the two girls and point over at those guys. How many of them are there?
3.
3. Okay. What's the chief? What's her name again?
Williams.
Williams. Okay. I'm gonna approach one of the Lion soldiers. Hey guys, how's it going?
Okay, so it's 2 men and a woman sitting at a booth. Looks like they had been watching one of the games, and of course they divert their attention over to you, and it's like, fine, something I can help you with?
Yeah, sorry to bother you guys. I won't be long. Do you guys know by chance where Chief Williams is, or where I can find her?
So the 2 guys look over at the woman. They kind of chuckle a little bit, and it's like, I don't know, Chief Williams. Do we know who you are?
Son of a bitch.
And
Thanks for the heads up, guys.
and she looks over to the other 2, and then looks at him, and she says, "I'm sorry. So Can I help you? You're kind of interrupting the game.
I apologize. I have some information you might be interested in hearing.
Okay, why
If
don't
I
you
could get
give me a persuasion check?
okay.
Now note you actually chose a proficiency in persuasion, so you get your +2 for that. And then your charisma is a 15.
Yeah.
So Cassius is a bit of a talker.
Mhm.
So out of 15, that's also going to give you a +2. So you have a +4 to your roll.
So that's 20 altogether then.
Nice. Okay. So you were going to say?
If I could get a moment of your time, maybe you want to step away for just a second. It might be worth your attention for just a little bit.
So she looks at the other two, the other two guys, and they kind of roll their eyes and whatnot. She's like, all right, whatever. I'm sorry. What'd you say your name was?
Cassius, ma'am.
Okay. First off, kill that ma'am shit right now. I'm not a
Gotcha.
ma'am. And she says, second of all, if somebody puts you up to you've lost this love and feeling, I'm letting you know right now I'm breaking your legs.
That's not what this is about.
All right.
I promise you.
What's going on? You said something's up? And she basically walks off to you towards, like the opposite side of the bar. Still within sight of the guys she's here with, but
So earlier we were in transmission of a couple missives about one of your people's shipments logs. And recently you've been missing a couple items from your shipments totaling a peculiar amount each time. That's right under the radar. Sorry, I can barely talk right now. Of
you're okay.
what's punishable up to a certain offense. That's about $5,000. But the parts that are missing uh, are missing 3 pieces short of being 3 complete generators, which could be used for a variety of things, including some kind of offsite base, maybe, or some kind of portable power station, whatnot. But I figured that this would be some information that you'd like to know if you didn't already.
No, I didn't.
So
All right.
there's the next shipment we believe is coming in a month. There's 3 pieces, like I said, from each of these units that's missing that I'm guessing are going to be the next 3 to go missing from your shipments.
And I'm sorry, how did you find out about this? Do you know Reeve?
We don't know, Reeve. I'm not even sure how we got the emails transcripts.
Our pilot picked up on some rumors, and we talked about it and compared information, and this is what analysis we've come up with.
Right. Okay.
I know this is unorthodox, and there hasn't actually been reportable criminal activity, but forewarned is forearmed, right?
No, you're absolutely correct. Just sorry, I'm taken back a little bit by this. All right. Well, thank you for bringing it to my attention. You probably should speak to Robin Reeve then to get whatever additional details. I think she works in the shipping area, which is probably how she stumbled on this to begin with. Why don't you look into it then? And if you can come up with anything more, I'll see if we can sufficiently compensate you for your time.
Greatly appreciated.
No,
And
I appreciate you bringing this up to my attention. It
if
clearly
the
was something I
private
was
in your
missing.
office hands over a message from us in the morning, this is what it's about. You can disregard.
Okay. She kind of chuckled. All right, yeah, will do.
Okay, I guess it's off to the shipping yards if we got some time left.
Sorry to interrupt your meeting.
No,
Evening.
it's quite all right. We're just enjoying the game, but no, I appreciate it. I would have rather have had this information. So, you two enjoy, or three enjoy the rest of your evening.
We'll do.
So she goes to sit down and elbows one of the guys like pretty hard as she sits down.
All right. Back up to find Robin Reeve.
Yeah, will we know where the shipping docks would be?
No, but it's likely attached to the starport somewhere.
Gotcha.
That would be the most logical place to look because obviously everything's got to go through some sort of customs.
Cool. All right, let's head over there.
Okay. So you head back to the starport at this point, and making your way around there. The floodlights to the starport have kicked on, so it's pretty illuminated. On the outskirts of it, however, it's dark because the absence thereof of light. There are still a couple people kind of wandering around, but it looks like they're closing up for the night.
Is there a directory or what does Robin Reeve do?
There is a kiosk.
Oh, let's address the kiosk and see if we can find her.
Okay. Hello. How can I help you?
Location of Robin Reeve, please.
So it chimes for a second. Robin Reeve is not currently in the office.
Does she have office hours?
She does. The standard office hours are, and lists off, a pretty standard 8 to 6 schedule.
Do you have contact information for Robin Reeve?
There is an official email address for, and it lists off the email address specifically for offsite hours.
I think this is probably the best we can do right now.
Gotcha.
So I'll send her an email and include my contact information and explain that we've spoken to Chief Williams and send that off.
Okay. So at that point, the kiosk says, "But is there anything else that I can assist you with today?"
What did we miss?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think that covers pretty much all of it.
Okay, so it just says, "Be well, Doran Vasava."
All right. Well, how far is or like how long a trip is Discovery from base?
From base, you can get here in about 3 hours.
Oh, so it's not super convenient, but well, hopefully she gets back to us quickly.
Yeah, we can only do what we can only do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, since we have her business hours now, I'm sure if we don't hear anything back, perhaps he a visit.
So where to next?
Back to the ship, I guess.
I suppose so.
Okay. So after you guys board the ship, at that point, Highball lifts the gears, and you are back into orbit, and then into space, and then back to Raptor's Cove. By about this point, it's been fairly eventful back and forth for the evening. When you get there, obviously, it is what was evening time on Horizon, so it'd probably be about 10 o'clock ish as far as feeling time or whatnot. When you get back, most of the staff has cut out for the day at Raptor's Cove. There's a small skeleton crew that obviously operates 24/7, but for the most part, most of the operations have shut down, and people have gone off to do whatever it is that they're going to be doing. And we'll go ahead and call it there because it's almost 9 o'clock. So it's given us about 2 hours game time. I didn't want to get too much further without our other two people.
Yeah,
being with
gotcha.
us. So
Yeah. If we have to do any fighting, it's always nice to have the full crew.
yes.
Yeah.
If for no other reason than to have Praza run around like a chicken with his head cut off.
That's always good for entertainment.
Yeah, so I had a lot of fun. I hope people enjoyed watching our slightly abridged game. It's going to be interesting to see what the stats look like as far as like Facebook and whatnot, how that it ends up reporting. That'll be cool. Thank you, Jonathan. Said Mass Effect was great. So we should be playing again. So let me ask. So it would be the 24th. Does that sound good?
I think so.
24th.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually has an approved Mando, so there's like a full kit to that. That just happens to be where he keeps his bucket. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, this that was actually a surprise from Brittany. Brittany ended up making the headgear, and they surprised me when we first started. So I had no idea they were both going to be our fantastic Asari sisters. So that was a really cool surprise. And they've been and all games so far but one, they've actually had it all on. So it was really cool.
Like the paint and everything.
Yeah.
But not tonight because we're tired.
It's all good, man.
But
The idea is still there.
Yes, it is. It is. That's what's important. So the 24th will be the next game for Mass Effect. So we're cool with that?
Yeah.
For the time being, obviously? Okay. So that means Friday the 19th will be Vampire. Saturday the 20th will be Cyberpunk. And then we're back to the Changing Breeds game on the 22nd. So hopefully if you guys tune in, I'll tune in then, and we'll see how it goes, obviously, with the Facebook, and we're going to continue broadcasting there, see how that goes. So, but thank you guys for tuning in. I had a lot of fun. I was really looking forward to tonight, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
See you guys.